right ahead of the RebZone, a big-time rally that draws iron in a heartbreaking finish. We're breaking down Saturday's nail-biter against San Diego State. Head coach Tony Sanchez is in studio to dissect the game. Plus, a preview of Saturday's roadie in Fort Collins against Colorado State. And we recap the Runnin' Rebels offensive showcase in their exhibition game. It's time to turn your attention to the RebZone.
Get your eyes right!
30 minutes of UNLV sports is headed your way right now.
Let's go!
This is the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by R.C. Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
Welcome inside the RebZone. Kevin Bullinger alongside UNLV head football coach Tony Sanchez. After a frustrating, heartbreaking loss last night, you guys were right there, just couldn't close the deal.
Yeah, I tell you what, that was a tough one to swallow. Going back, watching the film, it was a good college football game. Back and forth, and we definitely had some opportunities just down to the wire too. We missed an open guy at the end, and then obviously the field goal coming off the upright. But a lot of things happened from start to finish that could have done a little bit better. But when you're sitting there having the kind of season we are right now, those are big opportunities to get wins and get back to feeling good about everything as you go down the stretch. So tough night.
Let's start our look back at this game. We're going to begin in the first half where the Rebels dug a hole, but then got some momentum late.
We have to play focused. We have to be detail-oriented. You understand that? Focus and detail-oriented. It's got to be intellectual. It's got to be smart. You got to be a warrior out there, but you got to be this brave, smart warrior. We're going to go running out, and the opportunity's right there in front of you. What are you doing with it?
Former Rebel great Bo Bell on hand as the honorary captain for UNLV as they took on San Diego State. The Aztecs had the ball first, but the Rebel D forced a quick 3-and-out, capped by this sack by Rayshon Jackson. But UNLV's offense was slow out of the gate early as well, as Randall Grimes has this ball go through his hands. San Diego struck first, 3rd and 6 from the Rebel 49. Ryan Agnew goes deep downfield in a jump ball situation, grabbed by Ethan Dado, who goes the distance for the touchdown, and it was 7-0 Aztecs. Kenyon Oblad was sacked to kill the next drive, but UNLV would get the ball back after an Aztec punt at their own 10. The first play was a pitch to Charles Williams, and he appeared to have a huge hole, but he dropped the ball. Williams did recover, but the Rebels had to punt. San Diego gets penetration, and that punt is blocked by Trenton Thompson, and it's recovered for a touchdown. SDSU had a 14-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. A critical play early in the second. UNLV had a 4th and 1 at the Aztec 45. San Diego appeared to jump in the neutral zone, drawing the Rebels, but the officials called UNLV for the false start, so instead of a first down at the 40, they had to punt. Later in the quarter, the Aztecs would get a 25-yard field goal from Matt Areza, and the San Diego lead was 17-0 with 3:01 left. That's when the Rebel offense put something together. On 3rd and 21 from their own 14, Oblad swings it out to Tyleek Collins. He reverses course and heads to the other side of the field and turns the corner. Collins goes 28 yards for a first down at the 42. Then Oblad goes sideline to Grimes. He comes back for the ball, breaks a tackle, and is off to the races. 58 yards for the touchdown. UNLV was on the board and went into the locker room at halftime down 17-7, but with momentum and getting the ball to start the second half. Well, obviously the killer in the first half was the block punt for the touchdown. Now that you've looked at the film, what was the breakdown on that?
Well, personal protector's got to do a good job of picking that up. You see the guy kind of loop around, and 44 is right there. He's got to do a good job, and he just, again, he made a mental error there, and it can't happen. I mean, anytime you give up a block punt for a touchdown in the game, you look at the percentages, it really drops your percentage of winning that game. We battled back, and we overcame it, but that's a critical error, in a game we ended up losing by 3. So.
There were a lot of drop balls in this game. It started early and it continued all the way through to the end. Guys trying to do too much or total lack of concentration?
Well, I think trying to do too much. Randall, I mean, again, obviously, at the end of the game, we're not even down there if he doesn't make those spectacular catches and the touchdowns. But he had about 3 drops in the game. Tyleek, again, he had the big, nice run when it was 3rd and 20-something, and he ends up getting 28 yards. But he had a drop ball again in the second half. So some of those guys that dropped balls came back and made some big plays. But again, to win a game like that, you can't have those critical errors, And then obviously the offsides was ridiculous. That was a terrible call. We'll send all that film in, this week. But that was a big impactful play because that's a 4th and 1. We're going to get the ball on the 40-yard line going in, so they missed that.
The defense played great, and you knew they were going to have to play stout for you to be in this game, and they came through for a whole 4 quarters.
They did. They played a full 4 quarters. The one thing that I would say is that we sometimes we gave up some gash runs and let them flip the field. It felt like our offense was always starting kind of backed up the whole night. And once we settled down, we played well. We got them to turn the ball over and punt the ball. We just got to do it earlier in those possessions. But overall, it's a great night. Giving up 1 touchdown to San Diego State on the night, it's a big deal.
The late TD was huge. You were down 17-0. You had to go the length of the field. And 17-7, obviously a manageable task, especially getting the ball to start the second half compared to 17-0. Plus, the offense finally got a little bit of momentum going.
Well, we kind of talked about that. I talked about that in the media, talked to our team. We knew the game was going to end up kind of being like that. It was going to be hard to run the ball early in the game. You're going to have to just kind of wear them down, kind of like a heavyweight fight, body blow, right? You take the the block punt out of it, and I mean that's kind of the game you thought that it would be. A 10-7 game at halftime, and ends up being 17-7. But we needed that, and that's one of the reasons you take the knee at the end. You're going to get the ball coming out of half, and from that point on, it's just like, all right, let's focus up, let's get this next score on the board. We did. Unfortunately, it wasn't a touchdown; it was a field goal, but it put us right back within a 1-score game.
Well, let's go to the second half right now, where the Rebels did put themselves in position. They just couldn't get over the hump. UNLV had the ball to start the second half and immediately put together a 13-play drive. Charles Williams goes for 8 yards and a first down in San Diego State territory. Then watch the great grab by Grimes at the 11-yard line to put the Rebels in position. But the drive would stall and UNLV would settle for a 22-yard Daniel Gutierrez field goal to cut the Aztec lead to 17-10. The defense held and UNLV had the ball back, but it was inside their own 10. 2 consecutive false start penalties put the ball at their 2, but they did get out of the hole as Oblad hit Noah Bean for 28 yards out to the 30. On 3rd and 10 at their own 41, Oblad to Collins, and it went right through his hands for another drop pass, and it would force a punt. San Diego had the ball at their own 30, and they drove down the field to set up a 35-yard field goal on the final play of the 3rd quarter. We were headed into the 4th with UNLV down 20-10. The Rebels tried to get something going, but on 4th and 6 at their own 43, they lined up to punt. It's a fake, but the Aztecs were not fooled, and they make the stop to take over possession. UNLV needed a big defensive play, and they got it. Agnew back to pass, and Jericho Flowers is right there to pick it off to keep SDSU off the board and give the Rebels life. They took advantage. On 3rd down, Oblad scrambles and claws and gets it just short of the sticks. UNLV went for it on 4th down. Charles Williams moves the chains to keep things going. Then Williams breaks free and he rolls 42 yards downfield all the way to the Aztec 24-yard line. Oblad hit Grimes for 11 more and a first at the 13. It was 4th and inches at the 4. Oblad keeps it himself, and the push gives the Rebels a 1st and goal. Next play, the fake handoff, and Oblad rolls right. He hits Gio Faolo for the touchdown. UNLV was back in business, down 20-17 with just under 6 minutes left. San Diego had a 3rd and 4 at their own 31. They pitch it to Jawan Washington, and watch Farrell Hester come up and deliver a big-time hit to stuff the run and force a punt. UNLV would get the ball back at their own 23 with 3:44 to go. Williams starts the drive with an 11-yard run to move the chains. But then disaster, that bad snap over Oblad's head. He falls on it, but it's a 14-yard loss. It was 4th and 24 at their own 20. Oblad puts a perfect ball down the left sideline for Randall Grimes, and he hauls it in for a 42-yard pickup at the Aztec 38. Then Oblad to Steve Jenkins for another first down at the 26. On 3rd and 9, Oblad flips it out to Courtney Reese. He has room, but he drops it. That would set up Gutierrez for a 42-yard field goal to tie things up. And it clangs off the right upright. Devastation for the Rebels as the comeback comes up just short, and they fall to San Diego State, 20-17.
I never had to play a game like that before, and you see it on TV and you think, oh man, that sucks for that team, and when it really happens to you, it's just, it's crushing. So that's all you can really say. It's just you're just down right now. You wanted that win really badly.
We're not blaming like on one play, like with the field goal or with the any other miscue, that was slowing us down from getting to where we wanted to get. So whatever we, put out on the field, we did that, but we need to do more to get the win.
Let's begin at the end. There's no crueler way to lose a football game than a missed field goal off the upright.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And one of the things, too, is you go back to that series and on first down on that same series, we call it a shake route and we have a wide open guy and we just didn't hit him. That was really hard to watch on film because we walk in the end zone there. And then, Daniel had plenty of distance and, again, off the upright. So, like Chuck said, though, right there, it's not one thing. It's a multitude of things you got to do a little bit better to win that football game. But guys played hard, really proud of their effort, and their grit, digging back in and getting themselves in a position to win and or tie the game. Unfortunately, we didn't execute.
Coming off that late first half touchdown, the offense in the second half just kind of seemed to keep that motor running,
Yep.
Good run-pass balance. Things kind of move the ball effectively.
We really did. Again, that's the type of game we kind of thought it was going to be. We came out in the second half, had a really good drive, kicked a field goal, put it within one-score game. Defense continued to play really, really well, held them to that field goal, and just really played solid the whole night. To give up 3 points in the second half, to not allow a second half touchdown, from San Diego State, that's really good defensive football. And then at the very end of the game, when we did get the score to go down 3, to get a 3 and out right there was crucial. So I thought they did a really good job.
We're continuing to watch the maturation of Kenny Noblad. It's kind of a learn-by-doing process with him. He's really been put in different situations each week that he learns from. This time it was having to get a long drive late in the game to try and tie or win the game. How would you assess how he's kind of evolving as a quarterback, as a redshirt freshman?
Well, I think he's doing a good job of maturing, again, handling these situations. He showed some courage. He made some nice throws. You saw the nervousness. That snap really wasn't even a bad snap. It kind of went through his hands, and that can't happen and puts us in a terrible fourth down situation. But then he executes a beautiful ball to Randall Grimes. And then again, we missed the one ball again when I told you it was first down and we had a wide open Randall. So, at the end of the day, we're not down there if he's not throwing the ball the way he is. Some guys got to help him out a little bit and catch some of those balls earlier in the game. But I think he's doing a good job. He's maturing and he's showing some toughness and like what we see.
All losses hurt. This one, though, stung.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that there's no carryover effect with this one?
Well, it's, what? I tell you what. It's like, the last week at Fresno. That was a really frustrating game. There was a lot of plays we made a ton of mistakes at. And that was hard, right? And we got on the guys. This one, it's a little different. It's a little different taste. But, again, we got to continue to coach. You got to continue to keep the guys in the pocket. And we're really going to need some great senior leadership. Those guys who are elected captains, they have to be just that. The senior class, they can't lose any of their grit and fight. And, we showed that last year at the end of the year that we're never going to give up. And you see by the demeanor and the way the team plays, they're playing hard. There's no quitting these guys. But as the season goes on, you start to, you get some losses there behind you and that number grows. It's hard to keep the guys in the pocket. So you got to do a masterful job, as coaches and everybody in the organization, getting the guys locked in. And it's a winnable game this week against Colorado State, but we're going to have to lock in and do a really good job of messaging it.
Speaking of Colorado State, we're taking a first break, and then there's a big game next week as the Rebels hit the road. We're going to preview Saturday's game against the Rams in Fort Collins as UNLV looks to get back on track.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by RC Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
This Saturday, UNLV looks to be road warriors as they head to Fort Collins to take on Colorado State.
There are a lot of similarities between UNLV and Colorado State. Both are trying to get their programs back in the bowl contention, but have struggled with inconsistency and injuries. Quarterback Colin Hill tore his ACL and is out for the season. The Rams are riding Patrick O'Brien as his replacement. Offensively, the Rams have put up the second most yards in the conference and nearly 30 points a game, but their defense is giving up 34 a game. That's led to another rough start in Fort Collins. and it's one that head coach Mike Bobo is hoping will turn around.
It's been about accountability. It's been about holding each other accountable from player to player, from coach to player, coach to coach. And the guys have taken ownership in that, and guys have stepped up as leaders on this football team. I've given them a platform to lead, and they've led, and guys are following, which has been a good sign.
The last time these two teams played was 2016, a 42-23 loss for UNLV at Sam Boyd Stadium. Since most players haven't seen each other in a game situation, Bobo says the cut-ups will be crucial.
The film study is going to be very important. Now, we do trade all the film, and you watch UNLV if they're playing an opponent that we might play. So I've seen, what they've been doing the last couple of years and seen the improvement.
This will be the first game for UNLV at the Rams' new stadium. As of right now, the newest in the conference, but that, of course, will change next year when Allegiant Stadium opens. One final factor could be weather. In Colorado, it's always unpredictable. It could be great 1 minute and then nasty an hour later. Handling business on the field while keeping the outside intangibles blocked out will be crucial to picking up a big road win.
All right, so the Rams are coming off a big win against Fresno State yesterday, but they did so without running back Marvin Kinsey, who was leading the conference coming into the weekend in rushing. He has been suspended indefinitely.
Yeah.
They're going with 2 freshman running backs, but they still put up 41 last night.
Yeah, they have an explosive offense. O'Brien's actually come in and kind of jump-started that, and it's kind of like, with Oblad coming in and, throwing the ball around. That's what they're doing. They're chucking the ball around a lot. Big number 9, you see him right there. He's a really athletic, long guy, had a good game last night. So it's going to be a challenge. All these games are challenges. No different than San Diego State and Fresno the week before. They're all winnable games. You're going to have to go execute at a high level, but we got to find a way to slow down their offense.
Whether it's supposed to be clear and cold right now, it's actually kind of a good football weather scenario that kind of maybe takes everything else out except for the cold.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So right now it's supposed to snow throughout the course of this week, but then it's supposed to stop snowing, I believe, on Friday, and Saturday is supposed to be sunny, so it'll be cold, probably in the 40s.
All right, Coach, good luck with that one. We're going to shift gears up next. We're going to talk some Running Rebels hoops. We're going to show you some of the top plays from Friday's exhibition game, and you'll hear from some of the key guys. That's all coming in 2 minutes as the Red Zone rolls on.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by RC Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
The Running Rebels took the floor with Smack for the first time this season as they played an exhibition game on Friday night.
TJ Otzelberger was courtside for a game at UNLV for the first time as the Running Rebels took on West Coast Baptist in an exhibition. Things got going quickly. Off the turnover, Elijah Mitro Long heads the other way, and he gets the hoop and the harm to give UNLV its first lead, and they never looked back. Jonah Antonio started bombing threes as the Aussie pulled in 6 triples in the first half. Then the running, Amari Hardy leading the break, and he feeds in Bake Jong for the slam. And off the forced turnover, the ball doesn't hit the floor as the Rebels pass it ahead to Antonio, and he throws it down. UNLV led 57-16 at the half. The onslaught continued in the second. The alley-oop to Jong. Jay Green with the penetration, and the dish to Chekna Dembele for the dunk. And the capper on the hustle play, bodies flying everywhere. Nick Blair goes flat out to save it over to Marvin Coleman for the bucket. West Coast Baptist was undersized and overmatched. A good game for UNLV to knock the rust off as the Running Rebels cruise 112-54.
Really happy with how they shared the ball, really happy with how they played for each other. Thought we had great energy for the most part, and fortunate to come out with a good win here in the exhibition game.
We just wanted to go in and focus on ourselves tonight, focusing on the details, focusing on the little things that will propel us into the next game. Going in every night like this, take games like this, you don't want to take these type of games lightly. You want to continuously build on it, and I think we did that tonight.
We're trying to push with our guys that we need to be the team that sprints the hardest defensively to get our defense set, and then we need to be the team that sprints the hardest offensively to try to capitalize. And so we'll continue to work.
We're coming back with the plays of the week, but as we go to break, here's a look at how other Mountain West football teams did over the weekend.
watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by RC Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
So the team sets goals before the season. The main goal is to get to a bowl game. To do that, 4 games left, you're going to have to run the table starting this week.
Yeah, break it up like 4-quarter game, right? I said it last night after the game. You know, you get there by winning 1 game at a time. You can't win all 4 all at once. So again, you know, it's about us, you know, offensively getting the first down, getting the first points on the board, getting the first stop on defense, flipping field to special teams. We just got to focus on the processes. We focus on that, get 1 at a time, you can battle your way back in. There's no margin of error now, but it's doable.
All right, Coach, good luck with that. We'll be in Fort Collins with the team. We'll break it down next Sunday in the Reb Zone. Thanks for joining us for this one. We leave you tonight with the UNLV Plays of the Week. Good night.
The RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by RC Willey and Levitt Law Firm.